That's right, Command has authorised the use of radio silence as we have Special Operations Doctrine of the mighty aecohmatt and one of Korea's finest players to this day. I just combined the words Korea and finest to make Koreanist. We do indeed have PFC, which allegedly, according to the likes of Ashablar, stands for porn for cats. I don't believe him because Ashablar is a big troll and he's always trolling this very player. But for that reason, a lot of people will really have a soft spot for this particular Korean. They think he's an underdog, an unlikely hero, let's say, because he's going to have to be an unlikely hero today, as he is up against an incredibly fearsome player. This indeed is DevM, the 3-time world champion of many a tournament, many a finalist in other tournaments as well. He's been around since 2012, and you don't need much introduction for DevM. So let's concentrate a little bit more on our unlikely hero of the day, locking in with his special ops doctrine. And as we know, DevM Soviets, he's chosen defensive tactics. Ed's talking to his housemates. We can just about hear him. Ed has been to the lavatory. First action of the game. Ed joining us. How was your session? Was it good?
Yeah, very short, just like something else. But all good now. Set and ready. For DevM against PFC, Matt, you lucky El Bastido, because you're in for a treat, man. You got your favorite little fanboy of DevM, and I've got my favorite Asian fanboy for PFC because Asian Mint tipped him to do very well in this tournament. I wanna see it come to fruition. I think he can be a monster this Master League 5.
See this bush, Ed? When we're playing Amelie Fields, it's an MLG move to have a unit behind this bush just as a DPS kind of jungler unit. And it is very much kind of a MOBA style. You hide behind it and then you jump behind it. It is an ambush. And it works really well. I've noticed a lot of top-level players are doing that recently. And I think it works from the other direction. I think you've got... where am I looking here? Ah, here we go. Yes, this bush indeed. So just a little tidbit for you there.
Takes quite a sneaky person to do ambushes. I love the full frontal honesty of it.
The honesty of it.
5 bulk blob charging right towards him.
Come on, lads, let's walk slowly at the enemy with our sticks. Those machine and gewehr won't stand a chance. Yep. Indeed.
That's
as
how
the...
they did it in 1917, like true Chads. Didn't even run unless you were Irish. So,
PFC with a good flank here. The conscripts have gotten into position to neutralise the cutoff, and there's more joining the fray. Sturmgewehr's doing nothing but blazing, and there we go. The Foch Grenadiers close the distance, and they make it behind the heavy cover there. Do we have the possibility of a Molotov? No, we don't, of course. More Foch Grenadiers joining. And yeah, he's held him off that fuel for a while, and he's used it as a distraction to take this fuel over here. But meanwhile, PFC is going for his more local fuel point.
Yep, and finally, this tournament can officially start now. We do have the hierarchy of the community with Welsaway and Tomakazi joining in chat, Matt. It is Facebook official now. This thing is on. As DevM salutes it and locks in defensive doctrine. Feels pretty new, man, which has IL2 at the end of it. Okay, I didn't read the patch notes.
So I'm just going to go to my spreadsheet now and tick off the fact that Ed's gotten in his shout-out. I pay him in shout-outs these days. He's trying to lose weight. Obviously, he hit 300 stone recently, so he's now getting paid in shout-outs to friends. So there we go. Just ticking that off now. Foch Grenadiers are doing pretty well so far. I mean, DevM was able to neutralise a little bit of fuel, and he's gotten his combat engineer, but with no sick merge bro potential, and he's actually going to get, focus fired on out of there.
Yeah, good early retreat there from DevM though. And no second combat engineer, so he's opted for a different route from the glorious creative name in our previous series here. He's gone for 4 conscripts, only 1 combat engineer, so no sweeping.
Radio silence, it has 2 bonuses. It obviously removes the TAC map of a player notorious for not playing with TAC map, DevM, and it gives you 1.2 times movement speed. So he's definitely getting one of those bonuses, but DevM is not a TAC map orientated player. He's one of the last remaining vanguards of just, brute force kind of APM your way through a game, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, you're playing against OKW, so you're going to expect the Globbenspiel of death. So, I don't know, it's kind of obvious anyway, it's coming. It's just how it's going to be delivered. And just...
Stone Pioneer's looking low there, but
the close one, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely Chad, PFC. I think popping this ability every 5 seconds is just going to devalue his chance of getting fast STG, so he's got to watch out. He can't get too bloodthirsty with the ability. But now beautiful Dushka brought out on the field for DevM, so that's going to swap.
Is it a beautiful Dushka, Red? I'm going to just check your casting here and admire the Dushka just to check its beauty. Yeah, it's looking pretty sexy. Dushkin away. You will give that one to Ed.
Beauty and simplicity, my lord. It looks like an elephant trunk stuck to a plank of metal, but
it does indeed.
beautiful.
Yeah. And we do. So this is the entire point of that push, was to get rid of a little bit of fuel, and he's now neutralizing it after having neutralized the cutoff. So, no, was it worth it? The cost 40 munitions, of course. So that's, as Ed rightfully mentions, a Sturmgewehr is going to be later on one of those Volksgrenadiers now.
Yeah, as we see our first matchup of OKW even used today. Just realised that from the 2 games earlier we didn't get any, both opting for Oster. So PFC is bringing back that Asian game style map with OKW. They still exist, folks, in 1v1 tournaments. Good news for any OKW fans. But what also is slightly left field is the rush into a Luke. So 2018 meta, eat your heart out, because it's back with abundance as PFC goes 4 Volks straight into a Luke's. There's only 1 combat engineer, as we mentioned earlier, for DevM, so no sweeping ability. This could be advantage PFC in the first 8 minutes here.
Let's all put our weight upon the shoulders of this tiny, tiny tank. Let's hope he has a temper to match, because, yeah, it is a very all eggs in one basket, or in this case, all troops in one movement, forcing away the conscripts. Tripwire flare goes off. Demunitions to kill a model, and it's worked.
Yeah, it's 60 fuel, so normally well worth it just to be able to plink away, and there's no guards option either for DevM, which is slightly the soft counter for the P2. But just the damage of the Lukes, normally so underwhelming, Matt. I don't normally bother with this thing and go for a flak half-jack because I have a simple mind. But if you can get this thing vetted and start doing ambush attacks, and then Vet 5 gets a glorious suppression ability, so along with the vision it can give from ambush stance, pretty versatile unit.
Stone Pioneer trying to jungle here, but the conscripts have them at a good angle. Meanwhile, we have the combat engineers and the Dushka pushing up there. Do we have a mine detonate? Yes, we do. We have an M42 on the field, but it's pretty far away. This looks should be fine.
Yep, the baby AT gun is really good against the Lukes. Often will pen, and it's got a great fire rate, so that thing will vet up faster than anything. Whereas the Stone Pioneers have to retreat back, chilling in some Molotov flames. A bit too long there, as DevM might lose a flamer unit. No.
Oh, he has indeed. No, there we go. He got away somehow. Edgy scared me for a moment there. I thought that was
it
his
was hella close.
Call.
He brain AFK'd it for a couple of seconds. I was like, whoa, where's the chase? But Dushka denied any chase there from PFC, so lucky there for DevM. Losing a flamethrower at that stage would have been hella bad. But yeah, it's going to have to save up towards a minesweeper now, else PFC can just ladle the land.
He's got double high munitions for a while now. Meanwhile, that Volksgrenadier escapes. So no, let's just double check. I looked away for a moment. I just got scared then. They lost the model. Anyway, he's going again for the cutoff. He's held high munitions for a little while.
Matt trying to impress all the girlies with the no-look retreat cast. Sometimes they can come back to bite you.
Can indeed.
Luke's fixed up, ready to go.
We've got a burning tree now. We have to make that into a YouTube thumbnail, as it looks pretty decent. But oh, look at him sprinting through the flames. Oh my! As the Lukes, however, comes into the picture to hunt them down from afar.
Don't know how his flame of fuel tank doesn't catch on fire there as he runs through his own flame. But
yeah, indeed. That's not in the health and safety manual. If the health and safety inspector of the Soviet army was on site, he would shoot them. Which, yes, is an ironic joke. Anyway, Stern Pioneers push in. They've gotten 3 kills, but 2 pips of veterancy, which isn't too shabby. Another Molotov threatening.
Oh, I like this change for Soviets. It's so strong now. Conscripts getting their AT guns and the Molotovs at the same time. And get some really fast damage off on them and accelerate their veterancy. There's a good flank there on the Dushka from PFC.
What a flank here from the MG34 though. DevM, he does not use tap maps, so one of the big advantage of this, it doesn't actually affect him. And he's actually pulling off his own flanks whilst radio silenced. Yes, he might not be able to see the Volksgrenadier capping on the minimap, but it doesn't matter, because he's pulling off good conscript flanks in the meantime.
Did have a Volk to maybe cover and pick it up, but Luke's finally overdue, coming back into the fray. But that could have very easily been a loss. MG34 there for PFC.
Oh, Volksgrenadier is low. Sorry to interrupt, Ted, but Luke saves the day there.
No worries. It's all fast and frantic. A lot faster paced games, it always seems, with OKW involved.
Yeah.
Movement is just far higher, but we do have the PFC APM Lord at the helm as well, and that could have something to do with it against DevM, who's no slouch on APM himself.
Well, let's check out the stats, Ed. Let's see if what we're seeing here. I want to see the points held graph to see who's had more control, because APM and tactics obviously become control in Company Heroes. PFC's had the longer periods of sustained control there. Army value wise, obviously starts with an advantage. He's kept said advantage on the army value graph, and on the KD position, that's pretty even. So I would say this game's even right now, but just going toe to toe with a 3-time world champion shows that PFC is no laughing matter thus far.
Yeah, double the points captured to points lost. That's really good work there from PFC, utilizing those 4 Volks build very well. But he has been up against 4 comms, just been able to outsmart DevM a bit here in the early stages, helped out with the backing up of the Lukes. Oh, as we see an infiltration bundle of grenades going off. Do take a lot of damage off that conscript, but don't pick up too many models as the Dushka starts to probably win this fight against the low HP MG34.
There we go, we've got the gruesome twosome of OKW mechanized. The Lukes and the Puma are out, and here's another silenced radio with a 1.2 times movement speed. This time, Sturmgewehrs on 2 of the Volksgrenadier squads, and the Stern Pioneers themselves trying to they do flank the Dushka rather.
I've learned something here, Matt. The buff, the speed buff of the radio silence helps the support crews as well.
Oh, nice. The
MG34 just ran fast.
Fighting fire with fire. Molotov traded for an incendiary grenade this time. Volksgrenadiers push on to take the victory point. And yes, I am panning down. We've got a lot in action. Stern Pioneers hit a minesweeper, then reveal hit a mine, then reveal the minesweeper itself after hitting the mine. So that shows he actually hit the action head to press D on his if he's on the grid keys. And just as he hit the mine, so it's really unfortunate. If he'd pressed D like a millisecond faster, he would have been fine. Meanwhile, MG34 is going to get taken down. We've got conscripts as well, ready to take the weapon. How is he still alive?
It's the blessed MG34 crew of the Lady Milord. And yeah, that's the second time that crew's lived to tell the tale of being outsmarted from DevM. So just a bit unlucky there, but if those dice rolls keep happening, one time it's not going to work out for PFC, so he's got to be a bit more savvy with his MG34 retreats, I think. Whereas he's got the Puma now backed up, so we don't see any live vehicle with DevM's. Almost no point bothering with one facing up against this composition, so he's going to stall straight for mediums, it seems.
Oh, big shots from the M42 forcing away the Lukes. DevM is heavily consolidated right now without fuel and without control of any victory points. Meanwhile, Volksgrenadier is looking low. We're going to keep an eye on that. Has he got a tough retreat path home? Mods and the Gant rifles. Yes! They get him! Second volley from the combat engineer finishes the job.
2 for 1 offer. Those models dropped simultaneously. Oh, that was a big pickup there from DevM. Needed some MLG play, and he got it. Just to steady his hand again on the map control, because it's been pretty much triple cap hype for quite a while for PFC now.
This, of course, is a winner's bracket game. Both players have 2 lives remaining in this tournament. I haven't actually spoken about their paths here thus far yet. but we've got to keep an eye on the action because it's so fast and frenetic, rather. Making up lots of words this game, Ed. Lots of words.
Frantic sounds pretty good though. Pretty Norwegian, but
I'm basically being like Tolkien here, making up my own language. As the Dushka faces the Folks Grenadiers and a Molotov's lobbed. 2 Molotovs are lobbed in for double times Molotov damage. Oh my!
double distilled. Oh, that's a late retreat again as well. PFC just being a bit thirsty.
I no looked that one again, Ed. I just think I'm in the Matrix here. I can afford to look away. We did see a mine detonate for the Folks Grenadier in the west side. Meanwhile, Stern Pioneers and Luke's push in on the west side. BIG versus Tupac apparently is happening before our very eyes.
Biggie Small's going to get Molotoved over the hedge. No.
drive by the Lukes. Imminent. Get off my territory. No, we've got an 18 aid imminent. DevM's just playing like a full-on Soviet general here. He does not care about the morality of mortality. He just wants to capture territory.
Yeah, it's been a spirited fight back here from DevM. He needed it. And just picking off that con, you're back down to 3 Volks, Matt, as PFC. He's got his double MG34 up with 2 light vehicles. Doesn't need to bother with a Raketten just yet. But I do feel that that wipe just got DevM that needed breathing space to stall for tier 4, which he does have up now, if I can see correctly in the base icons.
So DevM had an easy touch, no offense to Atif, on one of our only Saudi Arabian fans. He played him in the first round. He's ranked 300. Meanwhile, PFC played Ruby, who's a very good Chinese player. So one could argue that DevM possibly had the easier first round bracket there. But to be honest, they were both quick 2-0 wins. And they're here in a best of 3, the very first game of a best of 3. And I think we got a lot of viewers in chat, Ed. We got a lot of anticipation. It feels like we're in for a good old-fashioned slobber knocker. And
yeah, we've got the old with the new, like the old guard of DevM, even though he's a young kid.
He's still 22, 23. It's amazing.
Started in the womb.
But
PFC, you know, one of the new wave of, I think, top players from Asia. So he can really punish one of the old guards. That would be a great feather in his cap to push forward in this Master League 5. And yeah, just happy to be here casting with you, Matt, and enjoying it all with the fans.
Indeed. Tomikaze proving AE right in chat. I don't know the stats, guys. I just know what everything does. So I am likely to be right. If I say Molotov's stack damage, it's probably because I heard something in 2012 in my boomer brain. Yes, I may not know what those stats are, but I know what these things do. Thanks, Tomikaze in chat. But indeed, Luke's now has 7 kills. We've got the MG34 set up, and the Pumas just chilling right now. We've got a prepared position from PFC. He just seems to be chilling. Do we have... Yes, we do have the Schwer and Panzer authorization unlocked, Ed. So I wonder what his first choice...
And a T-34 up against it, so it's either going to be a rush job with a P4, but he's already got the CP. It's been such a frenetic pace this start of the game. Look at the CPs, man. He's ready for a command pump.
Wow, there you go. That's his choice. He's
well
got 200 fuel needed, though.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm seeing from PFC. He looks a lot less active now, like he wants to stall. Meanwhile, PFC needs to be careful of the M42 forcing away the Lukes there. And I get mostly a shot of these trees on my camera. Very good camera work. MG34 chilling in the center. We have the T34 now out from DevM. Its first action is to go straight for the MG34, it seems.
Solid camo choice. Solid camo choice. Covers them for both the sandy territory or the fields and the grassy knolls. So, yeah, good shout there from DevM. Liked on Facebook as camo. But PFC, meanwhile, is going to try to spar it at long range with a Puma and one Raketten. So it's going to be quite a lot of work here for PFC to keep this T-34 at bay.
Just getting an Ed Camo approved thumbnail. There we go. Ed, have you always admired camouflages, or did you get that off me? Because it's one of my bingo cards.
Are they always allowed in these tournaments?
No, I have them all allowed. So some of the especially the Chinese guys tend to use like the Halloween and Kalpingans. They all tend to like have Halloween camouflage with the red eyes on your tank, and it's
full
pretty...
anime. Oh,
yeah, it's
mine on
crap.
The road. 6th sense from the Puma. Decides to nope out. Still just one engineer from DevM, but what an engineer it is, a Vet 3, and it helped create that wipe before the Volks.
Oh, he's pushing in with a T-34. Lux is in imminent danger. We've got the Schwer railing on him. There's no Panzerfaust, however, so just straight up damage. But here's the Puma. That could change fortunes.
A good read there from Devon. Didn't connect with the seconded, so there was no point risking a snare there in uncharted territories. As PFC reacted quick though, Matt. That Puma came flying across like Rohan of old to the aid, and it is going to be a P4, so no stall for the Command Panther. Interesting choice there from PFC.
PFC's actually been playing a lot of Company of Heroes. He started playing around 2014-15, so it's not like he's definitely a fresh face to the tournament scene when compared to DevM, of course. Started playing his first tournaments when he was aged 11, having gotten Company of Heroes 1 in a Portuguese PC Gamer magazine as a child. I can't make these things up.
But he's making it work for him because DevM's earned quite a lot of cash over the years, isn't it? Said Co1 and Co2 tourneys, so
yeah, he's not won any of these big Sega events, but his cash still has a lot of parity with everyone else, which shows you just how many events he's won of these smaller, just $4,000 tournaments. Sorry guys, all we can put together. We're not Sega, but we try. We try as a community. Big thanks to the patrons in chat, of course. And we have the Ark. The Triumph. We have the three amigos, the trilogy, the trinity of devastation for PFC. We now have the Panzer IV completing his output with the Lux and the Puma as well. We have one of every animal that he needs.
Yeah, that's one hell of a micro job now for PFC to keep all these things alive and operable as well as just useful. He's got to remember all three of them now. For every push or defense that he holds, it can get a lot of work for people as this Puma even shows. Yeah, as Puma nearly goes down, but he could pick up the one and only combat engineers. Needs to focus them with the Volks.
He is doing that now. He's so close to a mine though. But however, the T-34 saves the day. Nice infiltration aid on retreat did not pay dividends. Meanwhile, more special operations. No mines on that western flank. We have that brave Focus Grenadier still going forward. We have the Veteran C3 M42 being focus fired and deleted. Meanwhile, Focus Grenadier is in danger.
Faust go on to the T-34. No.
Oh, and the mine kills him. The mine kills the Focus Grenadier on retreat there. So that brave squad that went forward is taken out. However, he does get an M42 for his troubles. Meanwhile, that mobile field artillery platform goes forward, but a little bit too far forward.
Painful loss there for PFC, and he's insta-rage. We bought Obersoldaten to replace his second Volk loss. Whereas DevM on the flip side didn't lose his combat engineers. That was a huge turn for DevM there, Matt. And it just means now his second T-34 has that much more punching power. Oh, as we see a
what
shot
the hell?
The gods! P4 from downtown, one shot, 6 comms, no problemo.
Wow, and there's the bodies writhing. As the T-34 is very angry, having seen his fallen brethren, goes forward to try and push away the Puma there. Obersoldaten taking STGs? Going for the STGs rather than the MG34. Interesting. Not too sure about that one, Ed.
Great against any sort of cover. So I always, if you've got that option in your commander loadout, I always think it's a better choice.
Must be a better player than I, Ed.
They all get the guns as opposed to the LMG34.
Oh, what a shot there! 80 manpower down, so we're having a lot of exchanged high explosive rounds from these vehicles, taking out a full squad and then half an Obersoldaten squad. So, yeah, a lot of death and destruction. And another T-34 is a choice from DevM.
That was a glorious one-tap, though, from the P4. It's just the bunching of the units huddled around a little tree.
Was that it there? Is this where they all died? Yeah.
It was just six guys on one little bush, and yeah, you got to watch out for that, folks, in your games.
You really have. Crossroads is a big one for that, Ed. You know, the shot trap, we call them shot trappers, and it is a World War II military term. Like, a lot of tanks had shot trappers underneath their turrets, for example. A lot of British tanks, especially. But that's exactly what it is in the game. Some trees act like that. So your squad gets bunched, and then one shot from a tank can finish the job.
Yeah, the AoE just not being spread out across all the models then, and yeah, if they're clumped up, one shot. But yeah, PFC needed that, Matt. He needed a wipe coming back his way because it's going all DevM's way there on the trades. As DevM still doesn't have a second combat engineer to fix these tanks up. He's going for the triple delight of T-34s instead.
Indeed,
And,
let's get a shot on this. Let's get a shot of this clip on screen again, because I do think it's worthy of such. Let's go over to it right now. As we see again the moment the squad died. There we go. This will do it.
Huge turn for DevM there. As you see there, Zizbauer thinks it's going to get a wipe, and P4 instead.
And now in slow motion, back and to the left, back and to the left. Oh my god! There you go. So that's what happened there, and they were all bunched up, as Ed rightfully mentioned. Let's get back over to live gameplay. There's a little bit. I know which scene I need to do. And again, there's a Luxus in danger. T-34 goes forward. Somehow survives thanks to the Puma Rakettenwerfer combination. We now have 3 T-34s, Ed, on the field for DevM. So he's surely planning a huge push at some point.
Yeah, it means you can just use one as an absolute damage sponge on your spearhead push, and the other two come flying in. But with the Puma slowly getting fed up, it does have its crit ability now, and the P4 with one Raketen. I do believe PFC could just about hold off 3 T-34s, but DevM even getting close to a 4th in terms of manpower and fuel.
Puma now gets to veteran C2, forcing away one of the T-34s, but he's got so many to be careful of. Let's show off the attack map just to reveal the positioning of all the units. There we go. And we can see that DevM is ready for a big swing right now. He's got a huge gathered prepared force in the east there. And PFC continues to push forward with these units. This could be dangerous for him.
Yep, it's like they've traded sides and all just clumping up on left against right. They're scared of each other.
He's continuing to push up. PFC is. This could be a big trap. And here, DevM's pulling the trigger. Hate to say we told you so, but here it comes. The push from DevM, swinging on the eastern flank. He's going forward. We do have Panzerfaust on the rear, but we've got a possible crushing action. No, the Lux is now in danger. Meanwhile, the Puma knows it's needed, but is it too far out of position? Lux is going to be shot with a rear shot from DevM. Gets it.
Great kill there from DevM. 4th T-34 already in the field, so when he... Well, if he loses one, which he did just lose one as I spoke.
I think the Puma must have killed it in the north indeed.
IOL gaming here. And the ability has been called down. That's some anti-tank overwatch, it seemed, from DevM, and all hell breaking loose. You just see so much flashing retreat paths for PFC. It's in full-on
Panzer IV's in danger, Ed. He hits the tree on his first attempt, reversing away as fast as his little tracks will carry him, and should defend himself right now. Let's find the dead T-30. Here it is. It died up here to the Pumas. Whilst all of that was happening, it was a distraction. So as Ed rightfully mentioned, you kind of sacrifice one T-34 to lure your opponent in, and then you can always just keep pumping them out, and we've got a fresh one already on the field.
And although PFC quote-unquote kind of held, you just see the amount of repair time and everything else as we see the double engineer finally locked in for DevM. He can fix up his tanks far faster than PFC can, and PFC lost the Luke, so that
and an MG34, Ed, looks like.
Yep.
Looks like he stole an MG34 as well, so I'd say that's a good trade for DevM all in all, because you'll see all of these units are now going to come back onto the field, and there's one more MG waiting for them. He's spreading out. This guy's a pro, Ed. He's spreading out. Oh my god.
And almost more importantly than the units trade is the map trade, and this is a triple cap going away for DevM now. Whereas PFC got it early game, DevM's getting more where it counts in the mid game as a Dushka gets flanked though.
What a flank it is. He's using the speed powers of the special operations to wipe the Vet 2 Dushka. T-34 knows it's needed now as the Zisgun has to reposition, so it's a game of incredible flanking action thus far.
Yeah, this is really slow reaction here from DevM, uncharacteristically slow. He could snare. He doesn't have the munis to snare because he popped the ability. Oh, so what helped with the flank is not being able to help with the gank of the T-34, but P4's now backing up the squads, blapping things left and right, and yeah, DevM in full disarray at the moment. scrambling with the T-34 flight squad to the assistance of the
Indeed.
support weapons.
And Rakettenwerfer goes forward. T-34 could be in a bit of bother here. One more shot required. Volksgrundy is spotting for him. Won't be able to get the overshot in, most likely. No, he's going to decline against it. Meanwhile, Panzer IV goes in, just finding an angle. This is devastation. It's just all over the place, Ed.
Yeah, the map control really helping out DevM at the moment because
Oh, that is
PFC needs
unfortunate.
munitions. Yep, loses another squad, but desperately needs munitions to help out with his pushes and doesn't have it available. Whereas DevM's swimming in munis with a triple cap. And yeah, PFC
And a
fighting for
Rakettenwerfer.
life,
You
yeah.
see the benefit of possibly DevM's superior micro here. PFC overspent himself and ended up losing a Rakettenwerfer. He was just A-moving. And that's what happens when you A-move sometimes, when you're tired, when you're against the ropes. Mistakes can happen. But then you do get Panzer IV saving the day, so it's all good.
Another lap on the MG, so that could be another pickup for PFC if you can get a squad over to crew it without dying to the T-34's pressure. Nope, they've lost too many models, they need to back off. Finally he backs off. But yeah, just
Oh, another T-34 for DevM. He's going to have 4 for the first time this game. His 5th built tank is a T-34 yet again here. And here come the conscripts. Obersoldot lose 3 models in that, just trying to neutralise the victory point.
yeah, he can't get to the sanctuary of his left VP, can PFC. So good cut-off play there from DevM. Is really hemming in his opponent, cutting off the ring from him. He can't get to the map where he wants, just for the steady bleed of 2 VPs to 1. Instead it's a triple cap, and that means a lot of time pressure here on the Asian player, as PFC does get a second P4, so it's 2 P4s versus 4 T-34s.
Oh my god, it's such
gonna be
tough work. The Puma needs to get to Veteran C5. He needed to keep the Rakettenwerfer alive. If he had 2 Rakettenwerfers in operation, this would be an equal fight. But right now, it's DevM's game to lose. MG34 was briefly stolen, but not going to be for very long. Puma goes in against the T-34 in the north, having to keep the angle panned down here, Ed, because there's just too much action, quite frankly.
That's all good stuff. Nice sniping there from the Puma. That's the way you want to be using it. But the differential's been all the infantry squads. Those 2 wipes paying so much dividends now for DevM. PFC did manage to get that glorious P4 one-tap wipe, but yeah, now we see a Vet 3 Puma though. Hope hangs in the balance a bit more for PFC is if you can get that to work with his increased damage as it vets up.
The Puma or something hits the mine, killing the minesweeping Surmineers. I don't quite know how that works. Meanwhile,
the sweepers, I think they pressed sweeper again after hitting the mine.
okay, right, okay.
Unless some other alien technology has taken over there, but Puma backs off. Does pop its smoke though. That's very expensive smoke in relative terms. Look at the munis. It's desperately low still for PFC.
That Rakettenwerfer, just look how much it hurts, Ed. Look how much it hurts. His Panzer IV's already mitigated. He's got an 80. Oh, and here it comes again.
Don't know why he stayed in range of.
Oh, and the tanks fall down as the bombs drop. And this looks like PFC's time as nigh to die. T-34's marching. And it looks like he's going to focus fire the weakened Panzer IV. He may lose the T-34 ace here, though. No, he could get a shot in. He bounces from the Panzer IV. T-34 indeed goes down. But the damage is consistently being done by the Portuguese warrior.
1P4 lives, though. As raindrops keep falling on my head. As it takes out the other
Looks
people.
like all my tanks are dead now.
Sad times if you're an OKW fan, as the ability reigns in from DevM. Even though we do see the IL2 picture, it is the old style defensive doctrine with the anti-tank overwatch. And there we go, folks. Game 1 to DevM. The battle of the APMs is on.
It certainly is. And let's just keep it on that cinematic option, as we just saw an excellent game 1. Can PFC rescue this series and keep his 2 lives remaining alive in this double elimination event? nice game one, Eddie boy.
Yeah, well, not if you're PFC, but DevM definitely just cranked up the volume there. I think we see more T-34s in that one game than we need to see in the rest of the tournament now. That was medium armor overload. And beggeth the question, Matt, should he perhaps gone for a stall for that Command Panther? Could have been a bit better at sniping off with the Puma against the T-34 hordes, or was just so much pressure on PFC to get any kind of media arm out there, deciding the pace of the game. And yeah, credit to DevM. He took game one. We'll probably see PFC in full USF flow for game two as he takes allies. So it'll be interesting to see what he can turn around there. But pretty cool to see OKW for the first time today. If everyone tuned in, we only had Austere as the Axis factions earlier in the previous best of three. So yeah, onwards and upwards to game two, and hopefully we do get our first 3-game series today, Matt. I wanted to see it go all the way.
Yeah, definitely. I think I really
you do.
want to see this too.
Yeah, and yeah, I think just a few little, perhaps, late retreats there, punishing.
I just
PFC.
think he was outfought, mate. I think it's one of those things you come up against. God, but sometimes your arms are just too short. I'm not trying to. It is the case though. DevM is like the most winning tournament player.
Your keyboard, man. You'll be a world beater.
Let's go over to the grass, shall we? Just have a little look at the moment that PFC couldn't handle it anymore. He managed to go toe to toe with DevM all the way up until I want to say 27th minute, and that was the moment. If you remember that Raketenwerfer going forward on an A move, and he just lost that Raketenwerfer. I think that was the moment the game was lost by PFC. DevM had some great flanks. PFC had some great flanks. It was all even up until we saw PFC make some micro errors. So I'd just like to say I think DevM outlasted him in this game. And if you're going to go up against... Go on, sorry.
You got to look at a bit of the decision making as well. DevM laying more mines than Bosnia on that map. And then as opposed to... PFC, who didn't really go for any shoe mines around. So when we saw those T-34 hordes just charging in, there was nothing to hold them up or just buy them a bit of respite or time. And I just felt the whole game, OKW felt a bit behind on munitions compared to the Soviet there. And those are the things that win you the late game engagements with added massive abilities like the overhead tank Overwatch.
You're exactly right, Ed. I completely agree with your take there. DevM laid 7 mines, PFC none. And as we all know, there's an emote in chat.
Yeah, it all fits your Mines Win Games criteria, so easy. GG. My job here is done. We've solved the mystery. Just build more mines as OKW. But I do understand the pressure, though, because the Sternpires are trying to do every job known to man.
Yeah,
it's like an NHS frontline worker. And you just can't do everything with them.
And we're just there clapping for them, on a Thursday night, like, well done.
I know. But I feel like just scrap out the middleman, get rid of Volks, just go Kubels and Sternpires so you can fix your tanks more later game.
it flashed it as well. And my take on it immediately was that what the hell? DevM is a non-tac map based player. This is a lack of scouting by PFC, possibly a lack of it's a cultural issue as well, because without the language skills, maybe PFC doesn't spend as much time in the English speaking side of the community as the Korean. So if he had, maybe you would know that DevM is one of the only players in the world that doesn't play without TAC-map.
I think he's using the ability for the speed buff just alone.
It's not worth it, though, is it, without the TAC-map
rather than the TAC-map help as well. I just feel like he is fast-paced. He just wants those flanks happening quicker. And it was utilizing it pretty well. But like I said, every time you click that button, what's the opportunity cost? It's either a mine laid or another STG quickly upgraded. So it definitely is. It's good. It's good trade-off, the game design and all of that. There are other commanders, lo and behold, for OKW. You don't just have to go that one.
No, I've been casting.
But Ricky Rifle and friends are like, Command Panther.
Mate, OKW from Nagano becoming to prominence in October 2015, October 2015, he beat Love Nest in a tournament, and I was casting at the time, he played with Command Panther. And ever since then, OKW have never not used special operations in a tournament. It's really funny. But everything about that commander, the infiltration nades, the radio silence, the aforementioned Panther. But it's great. A big shout out to Stemtag Daffy in chat. I blame Asher for not providing intel to PFC. Asher's a big fan of PFC, always making him sign up for tournaments. But Asher's the biggest English-speaking Korean. He has the best English skills. He knows the English-speaking side of the community. He would know that DevM is a non-TAC map-based player. He could have told him.
But even if you don't use TACmap, like there's so many tools. There's the chevrons in the right-hand side of the top right screen. When you start seeing them getting fired at, you know you can retrieve them from up there, as well as the minimap. So I've not always too bored in. I know Loveness lost a couple of games against that ability, and he heavily depends on the TACmap. I get that.
He's a heavy TACmap player, yeah, he is.
But similarly, if you're at this level of the game, right, like you're a tourney winner, previous tourney winner multiple times, you have to have some sort of acknowledgement of, right, if this is the meta for OKW, I've got to deal with it.
I agree. And I don't agree with Loveness saying I have to relearn 7,000 hours of time. It's not true. You know, yes, you may have hinged your tournament winning game style on using the TAC map. We get that. That's your mechanical forte, is the TAC map. You spend most of your time in it. But that doesn't mean you can't play in the regular game. I think what happened to Loveness is he was tilted by the perceived imbalance. So it wasn't just the mechanical thing happening to him. It was the hatred of it being clicking on the UI and breaking the fourth wall.
7,000 hours wins, you know, being the way he won them.
But psychologically, he hated the fact that it's a one click on the UI to break the fourth wall and to remove an element of the game from him. So he's not. So that's what tilted him. The game design tilted him.
Where is the micro based? The micro is not based in you smashing a zero key into all Oblivion.
It is for him, though. It is for him. Have you ever watched the streams?
I think the true micro of the game is watching your units just do a little sidestep here, little chase here, getting the white. Not if
you're Loveness, mate.
I think if you're anyone,
so much time in TAC map, though. All of his perception comes from that. But I agree. I agree with you that
he is not in. I'm willing to bet all my Ethereum or any cryptos I have. He's not in the TAC map when he's chasing down a unit to kill it.
Of course not. No.
You're gonna need your micro there, and that's where the fights are won and lost. I feel. Okay,
I agree,
PFC had an early advantage there. He did use the ability, but he's using it for a speed buff, not really to. I don't know.
I don't think he was using the speed buff. Really didn't help him that much, to be honest. I don't think it was.
It helps him with his positioning, and he got round the corners faster off the mid. I just think he late retreats cost him that game. Nothing else. A couple of late retreats. We saw it twice with the MG34 barely living on 1 HP. That is your lesson to stop doing that. Basically.
Well, the bigger picture is without the munitions wastage, I do class it as that, Ed. He could have. I thought your original point was he spent too much munitions on not using, not playing mines. So
the late retreats combined with he's using that ability, but fair enough.
You would rather him have a little tiny speed buff that I think he actually took true advantage of. Maybe twice out of 4 pushes with the
whether he
radio
took
silence.
Advantage of it or not is
he
up
didn't
to him,
lay any mines. He didn't lay any mines.
He didn't utilize that ability to its fullest, okay, but that doesn't really matter. What matters was he was dicing it a lot with his retreats. Realized his MG34 lived with a sliver twice. I think start retreating earlier. Then suddenly you see the Volks fall down to the same mistake.
I feel you're debating with yourself here, Ed, because your original point was he didn't use munitions well enough.
Well, there's 2 points.
I'm saying is I agree with you. I agree with you.
The opportunity cost of the munis is painful because the late game he couldn't get the map.
Definitely.
Why can't he get the map? You look back, reverse engineer it. Suddenly you're realizing, I've got 2 less Volks. Why was that? Late retreats. So less Volks, less map presence, less munis, all.
The main point is, I genuinely think if you're up against DevM or Kimbo, or possibly Asiamint, some of these micro monsters I call them, they're super high APM players. They put everything into just outlasting you. They play so fast, so fiercely. DevM, Kimbo, Asiamint are like that. I used to think Seeking was like that, but now he's been banned by Relic Entertainment, so obviously we don't include in that metric anymore. But those three in particular are micro monsters. They just purely maul you. And players like Love Nest and Isildur, what they do is they're like, oh, okay, on guard. They're just like, they use TACMAP Ed to be like, oh yes, I'll parry you here and fight you over there. It doesn't matter if you're over here because I'm over there too. And that's how that's why TACMAP is such a reliable tool to just outlast. Do you remember that amazing series we cast in ML1?
I think it's an
Kimbo
excuse,
versus Love Nest.
And we can all use it as like a thing after we've lost or won a game. We can use, not an excuse, but we can use it as a little verification in our head. But really, Isildur just outmaneuvers, sticks to really, really strict timing windows on his units, pumping them out at the perfect times due to his map control and his movements. And that's how he progresses through a game. If you knock him off kilter, which Seeking did in the last tournament in Master League 4, suddenly he looked at odds ends.
Verified games, by the way. We did have a referee watching the camera in that final, so we do know that those games do stand in the Master League canon. And I agree with you. Yeah, you can knock,
and it was a best of 5.
Knock Isildur off. You can knock Isildur off his game, basically, which is really, we need that. We need that as a community because Isildur, quite frankly, has looked monstrous at times. So yeah, we're just waiting for game. I hope that wasn't game 2. Imagine that if that was game 2. Wouldn't that be hilarious, Ed?
Many ways to skin a cat. That's why I want to see some absolute off-meta Chad just come.
Oh, it was
with a tourney one day.
That was
like
game 2.
I think with Von Ivan and players like that who can just find a glitch in the matrix at certain patches, and,
they can. Von Ivan's all about that's well said. Yeah, I love that too. When one player is really powerful for a moment.
But here, PFC, he's got the backing of his friend Asiamint, who said he can go on and win this tourney. He finds himself one game down due to a collection of reasons. Yes, the TAC map, and yes, also dicey retreats. And also, behind every 1v1, it's 50-50 every time of, say, your mistake to opponent's best play. DevM was forcing those mistakes, always chasing up with those wipes, and keeping a good tab of his units and coming in with a massive left hook of 4 T-34s. So he saved up well.
Ed, I like your passion.
He saved up well for situation critical, and then just snuffed out that there was no command panther. So boom, all in, and it paid off for him. Had there been a few more mines, different story. But we'll see in game 2 if PFC has learnt from game 1.
Ed, I feel like this semi-debate, I felt like we were in a pub. Do you know when you start debating in a pub where it's still friendly, but you're both into it? I feel like
it's just like watching a footy game or anything. Yeah,
I feel like you're getting ready for the professional realm again after a year of playing Escape from Tarkov. You're like getting your brain ready. If I can go toe to toe with AE on this debate about munitions usage, I can get back into contractual. I can do contractual review once more.
Go back to Tarkov. Screw this game.
That's your probational thought. Oh, you don't like how I've handled my first 2 months? Well, I can escape to Tarkov. Sorry, I'm making myself laugh. Plot Armor is fully on for Ed 80 Hertz now, and we do have game 2 ready to go for demo. I was mistaken. Somebody in chat said that was game 2, but it was not. We do indeed have game 2 loading up right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna go scab in, Matt. I'll be back in a couple of hours. Yeah.
I have no idea what this game is that you play. Is it what is it?
It's just an FPS, but we kind of break the game by playing it a certain way, and it breaks people's minds, man. It's beautiful.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
Unashamedly so.
I will take your word for it. We have game 2 well and truly loaded up right now. I'm just correcting the scores, and then we will be ready to do war once more. Let's get it on, eh? And here we are once more with DevM in the south. This is going to be a fantastic battle. As soon as AE corrects the overlays, we'll just laugh at AE attempting to correct everything. And he's just going to flail around like a mad person for a while until it's corrected. So I press that there. Then I go over here. Then I manually... This is what happened. Okay, I'm going to have to start this cast again. This is terrible. This is utterly terrible. There goes the sponsorship opportunities, Ed. It's not going to happen now, mate. It's all gone. It's all gone. It's all gone. 3, 2, 1. Hello there, and welcome to Game 2 of this series. You're looking at the winner of Game 1, DevM, locking in with... What is this? A possible blast from the past. I thought they were nerfed. Not if you're DevM. It is indeed Ostrup and Doctrine. Ed, who's the player in the north?
Okay, kill him! Get rid of DevM PFC right now if you have any honor. And crush the Ostrupen Scourge. We do not want to see it again. I spent the whole of 2019 and 2020 staring at that stupid profile pick and casting mode. So go on, PFC. Get it 1-1. Super biased cast from here coming up, Matt. And he is USF, as I said he would be. And he is mechanized. Oh, God. Okay. We've traveled back in time, folks. Here we find ourselves in 2020 with Mechanized versus Ostrupen once again.
Amazing. How is this possible? I feel like let's do the time warp again. Take a jump to the left. PFC's capping the fuel. Build some Ostrupen!
Will we see the artillery officer though? That's the only off meta I can believe in from DevM. So go on, DevM, make my day and bring in that glorious underused unit. But yeah, we see same map again, Amelie Fields, with hopefully different results from PFC if you're fighting for his first life in this tournament here. Whereas DevM's put himself in a very good position here of Game 1 under his belt, and now it's all to play for.
Mate, it hurts me to see Ostrupen. It really does. It's like
your little e-boner for
DevM. Who's DevM? I think he kind of looked out on all of his tournament wins, in my opinion. He's the biggest looker in co-history.
Well, we can't. I guess we got greedy after Game 1. We were blessed with Soviets and OKW, which was, let's face it, both kind of different to what we're normally facing, but now straight back to the old and tested. But are Ostrupen even any good on this map?
I think so, because it's wide open in the middle. It's nice and open for Wehrmacht play, so you can keep recruiting any support weapons with ease. And look at this as well. By the way, so DevM's all about MG pressure in the early game as Wehrmacht. He's going to use the Ostrupen to spot for them, and he's just going to go straight for the jugular. Like a tribesman hunting down a buffalo. He's going to stab it in the neck from this and just kill it, basically. Doesn't give a crap.
Yeah, I think it all comes down to how you utilize that MG42 when you've got Ostrupen in front of it, because they are basically hot trash as a front line against riflemen.
Look at this as well. He knows where PFC's at. He's got the Ostrupen ready for him. And this is just being in the zone, Ed. You just got a great feel for it. You're microing like a beast. You've got your eyes everywhere. And you know where the units are because you're counting. You're seeing things on the edge of fog of war. And you're like, yep, I'm going to prepare for this flank. And he's already done so. Famous Co-1 tactic. Yeah. It's a famous Co-1 tactic like Longra's pin. You always go up the north, go straight for the jugular, and then you protect the flank. And that's exactly what DevM's done here. He's gone for the pin, let's say the base pin, and he's protected the flank. So he's successful.
Start for PFC, though, I have to say. It's rough stuff, man. Got suppressed as he was trying to get into cover of his rifle, so this is just a one-way street of manpower bleed. But PFC is going to hope the old M20 can turn things around and start sniping some models. So we'll see what happens there with that one.
Yeah, this does not look good, but PFC's been practicing very, very hard for this tournament, and an M20 might be the little... just about surviving. Those crates saved his life, quite frankly. The M20 might be the curveball that he needs to get straight back into this thing. But with Ostrupen, of course, already having the Faust available, it's not looking probable, let's say.
It is probable, but not impossible. As we see it, I've been upgraded. Oh, yeah. I don't know. Like the blind lock-in of mechanized every day of your life. It's not, there's really good USF commanders other than this one. I don't get why everyone spams it just for one cav rifle unit and then, okay, you get buffed P4s, but we don't see the Jeep anymore, and we don't really see mortar half-track or combined arms much, so I just feel like, although it's the most selected USF company faction, it's the most underutilized one too for USF players.
Yeah, I'm with you. But this build now from DevM, he's going for a second MG42. He's got this meat shield prepared of all these 4 Ostrupen squads. And, you know, I'm not just reading from Ed 80Hz's Tinder bio. This is the tactic that DevM is going for here.
Yeah, most underutilized bio ever, probably, but
I'd swipe right for you, Ed. Don't worry, mate. It's all right.
As the kinky camo though of the 2-2 comes into show. Nice work there, and the cav rifleman late retreat again. If I have to say that one more time today, I swear to God. But yeah, DevM with that double MG42, absolute Chad play is just. No, he knows. He's worked the map out in terms of calculating the fuel and all that. If the M20's out, the Stuart is a long way away because he knows he's cut off his opponent for a long time. So this 2-2 can just act with impunity almost across the map. As we see here in perfect Hollywood-esque motion, was riflemen run for their lives. That was a good retreat there from PFC. Took it early, didn't take much manpower bleed, so yeah, how he's going to outfox 2 MG42s, I do not know, but it works well with an M20 on wheels and very fast to flank them.
Looking for mines, by the way, lads. Just want to see if the M20's laid any. Can't see that right now. Yeah, the 2 MG42s are now being joined by a Pack 40, which is really going to cause problems.
PFC's got to hope that due to the old factions locked in here that we've seen over and over again, he's probably hoping that DevM might bug splat again from his old PC, but I think he's upgraded things now.
Oh, his PC's monstrous now. I think he's finally got some coding money coming in. So yeah, Bug Splat M, who was able to Bug Splat at GCS 1 finals in Leicester on a different computer. It was incredible. It just showed such, such skills. 2-2, pushing in after the M20 here. One more shot necessary and gets it.
Yep, no smoke and no munis for PFC to be able to smoke there with his M20. And even the cav rifleman could have gone down there as well. Just take your pick with what unit DevM wanted to kill. Besides the M20, it is a bit of a tricky unit to kill at times, but the upgrade of the Zook meant he didn't have the munitions for the smoke canister. As we see the Stuart though locked in, it's going to be a 9-minute Stuart, so not too late, but definitely advantage DevM at the moment, as he's already got a pack gun out as well, 8 minutes with double MG42. That's just the power of the Ostrupen. I question whether they'll be any good on this map, but does it really matter when you can pump out 4 of them within the first 2 minutes?
I tell you what, Eddie Babes, this tournament, that's a Monty Python reference, by the way. If anybody gets that Monty Python reference, I give you a big credit. It's this interviewer interviewing a famous celebrity who says, "I actually respond to Sir Edward Humphrey," and then Eric Idle goes, "Okay, I'm sorry." So, Eddie Babes. Like, he gets increasingly angry. It's so funny. But anyway, what was I saying? If this was any other tournament, Ed, I think we would be casting this with no seriousness or hype whatsoever. But as this tournament is already starting to feel pretty damn large and hefty, I think it's a good sign of things to come. You and I have a lot of hype in our voices right now. We've got a lot of anticipation. And this game already looks over. So that's a good sign for this tournament, mate. It's really happy. Really good stuff.
I don't know if you know the definition of over, Matt, but no, PFC still got some fuel in the tank as the Stuart wraps around the MG42. He's getting a good flank off there, but the pack gun in tow is going to try and not eat a horse, but instead blap him through the field. He does. Beautiful shot there.
Oh, follow-up was close as well.
Oh, was right on. He guessed the trajectory of it. And good effort there from DevM. Never up, never in, and definitely took the shot on. So respect for him. That attack round there. But yeah, man, we've got a lot to look forward to, I think. And the added bonus that it's only on Saturdays now, so you don't get any tired, weary players on a Sunday. You've got work the next day. Instead, now they can really hone in and focus on that one blast of the Saturday games, and then chill on the Sunday to rest.
It was literally a tournament designed to get Asia Mint to sign up, and he refused to do so. Big F in
You
chat.
have IRL things, dude. You can't expect.
I don't care if you've got a girlfriend, a dying relative, a job that if you don't get it, your children go hungry. I want everybody to sign up for these tournaments because they're so fun.
But we see the vehicle crew popped out of the steward. I don't know where they are, but they're chilling. They're going to fix it up. There we go. Near enough full HP. So steward's ready to go. 2-2 half HP. Pioneer busy. This looks like a chance for PFC to get pushing on in here against DevM.
The enemy is taking our territory.
Just stem the bleed of the VPs. I was really impressed with DevM's triple cap after the early game in the previous match, and he seems to have taken off where he left off from last game, and yeah, you don't see the artillery obviously click though. It's so juicy. I'm clicking it on my map, but doesn't do anything sadly. I don't think we're gonna see him again, but instead he's Stewart gets a triple kill, one hit. Yikes. But instead we're gonna probably see good old Stoll to P4 medium and rush that out straight away instead for DevM.
Still battling hard as PFC. I mean, I've unfortunately written him off, which is possibly unprofessional of me, but we're going to stick with him. We'll give him some more respect. He's trained hard for this event. And although, of course, DevM should have the Panzer IV on its way soon. Yeah, indeed. He's got enough fuel and manpower as I speak. So that'll be out with no M1 on the field. Should be pretty game over-y.
Such is the life of USF when you opt for the steward and that lieutenant. It's a bit rough when you have to back tech and spend all that fuel to get an AT gun. Such as the design of the faction, but he's paid the cost now, PFC, in fuel and in blood, and he's got the captain with an AT gun in the build, so this is still very much still a game in, Matt. Don't get too jumpy.
No, I'm going to be massively surprised if not.
Right in front of the steward. If he even dreamt of going an inch forward, he would have died, but oh, danger close there. 6% there from PFC backups. Just
Panzer IV's about to hit the field, and we have an army that is ill prepared. No, I take it back. The M1 is on the field, so PFC is keeping strategic viability for now at least.
Matt swings with his hope again.
Hang on a second. The quickest Amazon sign for it delivery in Company of Heroes community history as we regain this professional grasp of this cast.
Yep, your lingerie has been delivered, sir, for your hot
I'm
tub
out of breath
streams,
now.
so we can all rest. Sigh of relief all round. As the P4 is anything but relief now for PFC. His M1's noping out and getting straight back. Doesn't want to be caught out there. And yeah, Matt, delivering the pain. It's the P4.
It is indeed. It's already got 2 kills. That rifleman was lucky to escape with its life. DevM now will be looking to cap the western side of the map and take full advantage of his regained map dominance as it should be.
Yeah, and
Somebody in
is
chat,
the- A
somebody in
signs
chat
up
said
to
I was
0 to
good not
20
to be out of breath,
meters.
but
Oh, God,
here's me with my vision going blurry as my body's starved for oxygen, like all the lactate, just from running up and down the stairs at blitzkrieg speed. Like, give me some Panzer Chocolate, because, yeah, that took it
0
out
to
of me,
20
lads.
miles an hour in 1 second. But then anything over that, dead.
Took it out of me, bloody hell. Thanks for thinking that I was not out of breath, though. I appreciate your belief in my system. Anyway, Panzer IV goes forward. Stewart dares be present as the pack gets a rear armor hit, and it's now backed into the bushes. Panzer IV goes in, and the pack finishes the job.
Yeah, kind of cucked by the movement of the trees. Bad retreat path there from the Steward. Paid for his price instantly as the pack gets Vet 1 as well, so unlocks that stun round ability. But yeah, good pressure here from DevM. Kind of unforced error there from PFC, Matt, really. Didn't need to go nose in with his Steward there, just out in the open. And that's the importance of infantry, folks, to go take the brunt of the damage first, so your vehicles can react and be kept alive a bit better.
M1 and 50 cal trying to protect the American Empire's liberty right now because it's under siege from DevM's forces. This 222, of course, has given him excellent range. Not that he needs it right now with the Obersoldaten and the Pioneers pushing forward, but he has good latent range regardless. Meanwhile, Cavalry Riflemen get a good flank off on one of the two MG42s. Osttroop do retreat away, and that will allow PFC to cap his own fuel. S-mines detonate. Oh! S-mines detonate. Cavalry Riflemen decimated and destroyed on retreat there.
222 helping out as well. Just even if the S-mines that they didn't step on were blowing up, then the 222 would make sure with the AoE finish the job, and nice combo there from DevM. His light vehicle and line players. The lieutenant just waits.
Oh, lieutenant could be dead next. Panzer IV could finish the job. He fires through the hedgerow but misses. DevM's on fire here.
Yeah, that was suave stuff there from DevM. He's attack rounding every. When you're on form and when you're confident, you're taking every attack round into man. But when you're on the back foot, you'd be amazed how it all changes. As we see a double AT gun locked in for PFC. He's lost the squad there, but still got quite a lot of infantry presence due to the absolute trollage of how USF get a free unit every time they tech. And second P4 will be the answer for DevM. So it's 2 AT guns versus 2 P4s, Matt. A lot of hot trash Osttroop just running around without LMGs, so they don't have too much punch and power. But yeah, one thing we've learned about DevM is his vehicle micro is usually on point, and they'll be doing the heavy hitting.
Zarok 47 in chat. In movies, the good guys always win. Unfortunately for PFC, this is not a movie, and DevM has not read the script.
Yeah, flip reverse of the good guys if it's a Hollywood film, because DevM in full ascendancy here. 200 VPs nearly now for PFC. Gotta find something from somewhere. I think it would be a buffed Sherman. Could help him out, or Jackson. Some MLG AT gunplay, but again, USF, not a strong faction for mines. And DevM taking advantage of that. Just got one Pioneer with a sweeper, just in case of that M20 mine. And he's got 2 tellers up, Matt, with those S minefields. That's a lot of munitions put into the mining effort from DevM, so he sees the power of it. 3 tellers then. Yikes.
Yeah. No need for railway artillery when you can just keep spamming the mines. Do more damage over time with being much less flashy. But look at this patch, I mean, that's pretty flashy. Especially flashy if you were that Cav Rifleman squad.
I feel mines are harder to deal with for PFC than the railway arty will be. As we see a sniper locked in for Devon. Okay. Slightly weird flex, but maybe he's just flexing nonetheless.
Yeah, it's a good option. I mean, USF have no direct counter. He's got 2 MGs set up. Ostrupen to meat shield for the sniper. This is just going to be salt and glass in the wound. The open gaping wound of PFC's army right now.
Yeah, so instead of a second Pioneer or taking up to tier 4 with the Werfer or something, he's going for the soft counter with Sniper. Just going to plink away at the support weapons, and it's frustrating to go up against when you are USF and have no counter sniper option of your own.
So frustrating. Not as frustrating if you're Brits, but nobody in tournaments plays Brits anymore, unless maybe Helping Hands did today. Maybe chat need to confirm whether he did or did not play Brits. Von Aston agrees with me. He says the game's totally over. So that excuses my lack of professionalism at times, but...
Yeah, but you said it 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Gotta give him some hope, man. Are you not into trades?
I live in the land that if you get a monstrous pin off in the first few minutes without being flanked, there you go, GG, and PFC surrenders. And well played to him. He now goes to the lower bracket. He will play in day 2 of the tournament next Saturday with 1 life remaining. But DevM remains strong in the upper bracket with both lives intact. There we go. So, yeah, you might have spotted at the end of that game, lads, I did know that was a replay, and I did know the result all the way through the game. So, if I had a lack of hype, maybe that was why. We missed game 2.
I was just full on fanboy for PFC. He's a great Tarkov player and an aspiring Co2 player. I think, well, he's got a second chance, luckily, in this tournament. So, in his second life, if he fully utilizes that map, he can come again. But yeah, just one reoccurring kind of misplay it seemed from him with those late retreats against somebody like DevM, who's not going to stick around and wait for you to fix a mistake, and he pounced on his opportunity. Great there, well played from the Portuguese prodigy there. And yeah, Matt, I think set up fine for the next weekend. So
Yeah,
we'll
we'll
join
have to have
back
a
next
little look at
Saturday,
the...
right? Or
Yeah, I think Tightrope won't be casting next Saturday, and you yourself will be joining later in the tournament. The big stage is upcoming. With 6 weekends, I didn't want to, keep flogging you like a dead horse.
No, I mean, but the fans get to see more games next Saturdays.
They do indeed, yeah. It's every Saturday. Sorry, mate, yeah.
Good stuff. And there is one break. I think the schedule... there we go. Boom, stream elements. What a streamer now, Matt. You are OP.
OP
So yeah,
indeed.
folks, this thing is going to go on for a while, but it's always going to be on Saturdays. So there you go. Instead of watching the footy, you've got your Co2 fix sorted for the next couple of months.
So you've always got 3 Saturdays in a row. So that's the next 2 Saturdays, then a 1 week break. Well, 2 weeks break if you think about it, 13 days, and then we'll go 3 Saturdays in May as well. And it's all about giving the viewers all the entertainment we can. Originally, it was meant to be on the Commander mod, but unfortunately, we couldn't make it so. Let's have a little look at the brackets and start thinking about next weekend, shall we?
Sure.
Let's have a little shifty as we see. Gosh, what have we still got going on? We've still got a Silder creative name going on.
Nice tough game. They know each other well. So we've rough to work each other out. Kimbo 2-0 against Bao.
Yeah, a big grudge match there. Asherblaw 2-0 versus Bora Badger.
Fast.
That must have been a good one. Nagano versus Happy. I tell you, Happy Cat's good. He got
Happy
a game
Cat
off
got
Nagano.
a game. Yeah. Still happy. Von Aston 2-0 Quirits. Yep. And
that's going to be a good series next Saturday. Nagano, Von Aston, Asherblaw, Kimbo all lined up for the quarterfinals. Let's check out the lower bracket. The guys on their last life remaining. Let's see who's out of the tournament. Stuve didn't download the correct version of the game. Got Theo has beaten Webster Bolek 2-1. I don't even know who Webster Bolek is, and he got a game off Theo, so that's good going.
Webby Boy's good. Another Polish prodigy in the ranks.
Nice, nice. Bulat versus Etet 2. We got Zvizwan has beaten Oziligath, and Ruby is through, which now lines up our lower bracket. Zvizwan or Baoliang, one of them will head out of the brackets. Bulat, Bora Badger, Theo, Happy Cat, and Gibber and Macros are waiting. Macros, if you want to call them that, are waiting for their upper bracket players to descend
Yeah.
from their
So this win
lofty.
against Bao's going to be a close fight, I believe. That could be a good little lower bracket scrap next week. And but we didn't get to see much Peruvian input this time. And there is a player called Greed Peru, Matt. And if you can twist his arm and get him into 1v1 world, I'm sure he can do very well in these tourneys. But for some reason, I don't know why.
There's a few good guys that would be
don't
excellent
get
tournament
much
players,
input
Ed.
there.
I always wanted to see Panzergrenadier and Greifen play. That would have been cool.
Yeah. It's like Chinese finest on the auto match world, so sure he could turn it to tourney results. But yeah, I'm sure there's probably so many unearthed gems still out there in the Code 2 world that we can
Most
see
likely.
over time. And yeah, but the names that we do have in this tourney has been amazing. Like the signups were, everyone's getting involved, and still a lot of games going on now as we speak, Matt. So
There is.
yeah.
Let's host Siberian. He's a Master League General. He's got the decider of Sienna Isilda coming on. So let's go and watch that. That should be absolutely brilliant. Thanks for watching today, guys. Thanks so much to Ed for casting. I really appreciate it. And thanks to everybody. You
Pleasure.
see the break reel. But yeah, let's go watch Sienna Isilda, the third game of a best of 3.
Cheers all.
Raiding in 8 seconds. Cheers,
stuff,
G
mate.
Dotus. Thanks, Powerlifting Pete, GB Pirate. What a legend. Ficker Wolf as well. All lovely people. And we're ready to raid. Let's get it on.